Want to continue our team coverage now. One of the hardest hit areas, at least in terms of snowfall accumulation and wind, is along the lake shore. Fox 17's Nicole DiDonato has an update from South Haven. Nicole?
I'll tell you what, I will never complain about being too hot on the beach in a Michigan summer ever again. And this is why we're here in South Haven along Lake Michigan. We thought it would be a pretty interesting place to take you guys to see how the winter storm is really affecting the lake shore here. You can't even see Lake Michigan. Before all this wind and snow, we were seeing some pretty incredible waves. You could see the pier. Now it just looks like complete whiteout conditions. We're told that sustained winds here along the beach are about 20 miles an hour, gusting to 30 miles an hour, but I will tell you what, it feels a lot more than that. Air temperature about 5 degrees at the time we were standing here. It really would be a beautiful picture if the winds and the snow would just calm down. But again, that's the latest conditions here in South Haven along the water. I'm Nicole DiDonato, Fox 17 News.
And that is a live look at the drive along I-96 in the East Beltline in Grand Rapids. A layer of snow and ice, but not many drivers on the roads when you compare most days at this time.
Yeah, as wind chills push temperatures to between 30 and 40 below zero, the conditions are just downright dangerous out there. One man was taken to the hospital after suffering from hypothermia in Grand Rapids this morning. And for some people in West Michigan, they just don't have any place to go during times like this.
And tonight, Fox 17's Jennifer Dowling is standing by for us along Division Avenue in Grand Rapids to show us what's being done to make sure that everybody gets to come in out of the cold on an Arctic night.
That's right, guys. That man was found on the 900 block of Franklin, and you'll notice that I'm all bundled up. I have actually heated gloves on right here, but many people don't, and they don't have a safe place to go, even if they do have all that clothing and are bundled up. And so you can really find yourself in dangerous situations if you're going to be out in this cold, even if you have all of this cold weather gear on. That's why Mel Trotter Ministries right there is loosening their restrictions. Oftentimes they put restrictions in place to keep residents safe, but they're trying to avoid more tragedy by letting everyone come in.
Without Mel Trotter, people are down out there in the streets out there in the cold. It's real bad out there.
On a brutal day like Monday, Stephen Brewer feels blessed to have a roof over his head. He says he suffered a stroke and was forced into the streets.
Mel Trotter, it helped me and it saved lives.
Without Mel Trotter Ministries and other shelters, he says many of those who are homeless in GR would likely take shelter under bridges or in other places where they would likely die in the cold. In fact, a man was taken to the hospital by ambulance from the 900 block of Franklin Street Monday morning after suffering hypothermia. EMTs gathered at the corner of Dolby and Franklin responding to the call. A witness said the man appeared to be bad off and likely suffered serious injury. This resident of Mel Trotter isn't surprised. Ron says if you have other illnesses in the cold, it's especially dangerous. He says it's hard on his heart and it can be tough to escape it, especially if you're immobile in a wheelchair. And resident and volunteer Vern Vantoff said a friend of his also suffered injury from being outside.
One guy had to go to the hospital yesterday. Had a seizure from the cold.
Because of the temps, Mel Trotter Ministries has loosened their restrictions.
We're not turning people away.
Everyone is being allowed in, including anyone previously banned for things like threatening behavior or substance abuse. They are so full they began putting mattresses in this room, typically used for worship, to create temporary quarters.
As people come to us, we'll simply throw more mattresses on the floor and we'll house as many people as there's a need for. There's no reason for a person to die in the cold here in the city of Grand Rapids. You know, our ministry's purpose is to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Brewer hopes those left in the streets accept the offer so they don't suffer like those who he feels died because they didn't want to ask for help.
They had too much pride to come in here and die out there in the streets. Please come in and get warm. This is a safe place.
When it comes to the impact of this Arctic blast, Fox 17's Deanna Falzone found its reach goes far beyond people.
She joins us live from the mobile weather tracker with a look at the lengths that some farmers are going to protect their livestock. Deanna?
Christian, Janice, we're on US 31 South headed towards Holland. Take a look here at these conditions. The biggest challenge right now is the drifting and blowing snow, just on and off whiteout conditions. The visibility is very low out here. I want to zoom out for you to kind of give you a different perspective. And to tell you the truth, the camera really not doing it justice. We have hit some really hard patches out here. The temperature we're reading in our car is 1 degree. We're going about 25 to 30 40 miles an hour. And for you folks that know, this is 55 miles per hour out here. So while most drivers hopefully are opting to stay home, earlier today we caught up with some local farmers in Ottawa County who just had no choice but to brave the conditions and frigid temps.
Well, I grew up doing it.
John Ewing took over the family business Woodbridge Dairy Farm for his dad years ago.
Don't care for it. Well, it's part of Michigan, I guess.
But hasn't dealt with temps like this in a while. At one point in Jamestown Township Monday, it felt like 30 below. Which means for the Ewings, everything took a little longer than normal.
I'm gonna have to wait a while. It's too cold to start and kill the battery.
John's been out since 6 o'clock this morning. He got up, milked cows. He hasn't been in yet. I brought him out some breakfast and some hot coffee, and then I came back out with him. Hey, back up, guys. Come on. Let's go.
On days like today, frostbite is even a concern for the cows.
Milking cows, before they can leave the barn, we have to make sure that everything's dry on them because they go out, they're outside, well, they're in a barn, but in a freestall barn. It's not insulated, so they have only themselves to keep themselves warm.
And don't be fooled by the barn's four walls. Temps this fierce aren't sparing any sense of relief.
Things are freezing. For example, there used to be a heated hose. The heated hose is now no longer operational. So we're watering by other hose, and you got to drain everything or carry buckets.
But despite the struggles and unfavorable conditions, the Ewings say it comes with the job.
Nobody's going to come out and do it for me or him. So we don't have the hired help that some of the bigger farmers have. So it's us. You know, somebody gets sick, somebody, it's us. We have to do it no matter what, one way or the other.
Now back out here live on US 31 South. Again, the biggest challenge out here is that lake effect snow, that drifting and blowing snow. Sometimes you can't even tell what's falling and what's blowing. I want to give you another perspective. If you can see over there, the cars traveling northbound there. Again, right now, conditions pretty clear, but in just a few minutes, we could hit those whiteout conditions again. It's just really unpredictable out here. So like we've been saying all along, if you can stay off the roads, definitely do so. And coming up at 6, we tag along with a local senior care service to take a look at what they're doing to get those clients that need help in despite these conditions, those folks that just can't stay off the road, to get to them. For now, live in the mobile weather tracker along US 31 South in Holland, I'm Deanna Falzone. Back to you.
Fox 17's Kevin Craig is in the middle of a cold science experiment, trying to gauge just how cold it is outside.
All right, Kev, so what's the verdict out there?
Well, the verdict is, I think you guys are going to be surprised. I've already told a couple of people in the newsroom here. We took a plain Jane regular cotton t-shirt, dipped it in water and set it outside. I think that was probably less than 10 minutes ago in this weather. It could be your clothes if you're outside shoveling. Take a look at this, folks. That's the t-shirt, frozen absolutely like cardboard. That, by the way, is a shameless promotion for one of our new Fox 17 shows called Enlisted. But this could be your clothes. When you're outside shoveling, that snow lands on you, the body heat melts it, and then eventually freezes up. This is really some cold stuff out here, so take this very seriously, folks. The other thing we're going to share with you is when we come back at 6 o'clock. We'll come back during the 6 o'clock news at about 6:45, and one of the things we're going to do, I'm going to have my cameraman Chris Pan down here. I haven't done it yet. I cut a couple of regular plastic glasses. Again, kind of an unscientific thing, but I want you to keep something in mind for the next 45 minutes or so. I'm going to fill one glass with hot water, and I'm going to fill another one with cold water, and we're going to set those out here and see how long they take to freeze. Here's something to ponder. Which one do you think is going to freeze first? There's a couple of different reasons why it happens. It may be a little counterintuitive, and it may surprise you. And if you want to know the answer right now, go to fox17online.com, because I've already got the story posted there. I'll see you coming up at about 6:45, and stay warm because it's about 20 to 30 degrees below zero right now, and our wind chill in GR, or our temperature I should say, is -1, and it is cold out here, guys.
Well, Christian had a bet for you, Kevin. He wanted to see you put the shirt on.
Yeah, if you can put that on.
Outside no less, right? Boy, it's cardboard. Listen to the crunch. You can hear the crunch there, guys.
Not worth it.
That's amazing to see that, isn't it?
All those winter sports guys always say cotton kills. That's why they use the new fabrics that wick away that moisture and help to keep the heat. You know?
Clearly, this is not Gore-Tex.
All right, Kevin, we'll see you next hour for some more experiments.